Coming up on the Lakeside Loop, robotics competitions have begun. Students are gearing up for the upcoming musical, and the new cafeteria is finally open. The Loop starts now. Welcome back to the Lakeside Loop. I'm Natalie Pop.
And I'm John Loest. There are many different ways students can get to showcase their talents, and now robotics is getting their chance to show theirs. Competitions have started, with one Lakeside team already qualifying for state. Josh Coots gives us more details on the competitions.
So as you're preparing for the meet, you obviously have to build the robot. You couldn't really compete without that. You have to have code that the robot can run, which is how you would drive it. There's also a section where it's just the code running by itself. It's called the autonomous. And then you'll have to fill out like a notebook that records basically every single thing that you do and everything that you do at practice or things that you've done, ideas you've had, all that good stuff. And then obviously it's good to practice driving every once in a while too, but that's about all you do to practice.
3, 2, 1, go.
So me personally, I drive the robot. I do help out here and there with building. I haven't really helped build that much, but that's more the other guys that build the robot, and then I just kind of drive it around. So the robot, it's supposed to, there's the mobile goals that you can pick up, and then there's different donuts, or they look like donuts, they're really just rings, but they're red and blue, and then you get assigned just a color to score, and then if you're red, you obviously want to score red, blue, score blue. And then in the actual matches, there's 2 corners, there's just kind of, they're on each side, there's 2 positive on one side, 2 negative on the other side. And you want to score in the positive corner, and that'll double the point totals on the rings, and if it's negative, it'll just make the score negative for that. Our first competition so far, it was at Shoreland, which it's about an hour and a half away from here. It was with the 4th in the skills and we had 7th overall in the qualifying and then winning the couple. We actually didn't win any of the specific awards that could qualify for state awards, but there was 2 just like wild card spots that they gave you to state, which is just the best that didn't do anything, and that's what we ended up getting because we were good at basically everything, but just not the best at anything. I think it's a good idea to join robotics because if you want to, you obviously already have some interest already, and then you can join and you're just on a team that you have to work together with, so it's kind of a good way to maybe meet some new people or interact with people you already know more, and then you kind of get closer to them, and it's really just, it's a great time. You'll have fun doing it.
Good luck at state.
Theater's once again in full swing, and the cast is working hard to perfect their upcoming musical. This spring, they're performing a story we all know and love, Cinderella. Jeremiah Borgward gives us an insight into rehearsals.
So the musical this year is Cinderella. It's not your normal Cinderella that you would see on Disney. It's written by Rodgers and Hammerstein, and it's got a lot of fun quirks and twists to it that the original, or the one that most people would know, wouldn't have. At the start of the year, it's a lot of blocking, a lot of just learning where you're supposed to go. Throwing a few dance rehearsals, some music rehearsals, just kind of slowly learning it piece by piece and putting it together, really.
And then, for the everybody moves a half step.
I just think the rehearsals, the work we put in is really worth it at the end when you finally see the final product, and just the story and the music you get to show off to the audience, really. So I was on the fence about doing it my sophomore year, and then I was really pushed by some friends, so I auditioned. The first show I did my sophomore year was Newsies. It was a ton of fun, so I figured might as well get another one in before I don't have the opportunity anymore. Even in sports, but more so I'd say in the theater, when you're around people for a while, you grow really good bonds with them, and they more often than not, a few of them will be longtime friends of yours. So it's always fun to see those connections develop and even have some of those friendships develop yourself. So would strongly encourage to come out and see it. It'll be a ton of fun. It's gonna be a good one.
Be sure to mark your calendars for the weekend of April 25th so you don't miss the musical. And now, over to sports.
Hello, I'm Keegan Lundgren.
And I'm Angelina Petrovic. Welcome to the fastest news in sports. We cover all of Lakeside sports in less than 2 minutes. The girls' basketball team went up against Lake Mills on Thursday night. The team won 38-35, ending Lake Mills' 5-year winning streak against Lakeside. During the game, Farrah Stibbs chipped in 13 points and 10 boards, while guard Nadia Murphy tailed 10 points and 6 rebounds. Paige Murphy assisted on a corner 3 by guard Shaylin Vu and then hit 2 free throws. The team used an 11-0 push to go ahead 23-9. The dance team had their regional competition at Middleton High School on Saturday. At regionals, they performed 3 different routines, a jazz, pom, and hip-hop routine. The dance team had put hours of hard work to perfect their performances, and all their hard work paid off.
The wrestling team had their duels against Lake County and Watertown. Unfortunately, both times they came up short, 36-45 to Lake County and 32-42 to Luther Prep. Lakeside also had recorded wins in both duels. Senior Ryan Schultz, sophomore Jack Thiele, all recorded wins against LCL.
Ryan Schultz, Sebastian Murray, Zach Hallman, Caden Prost, and freshman Mason Fleming, Zachariah Richard, all had recorded wins against Luther Prep. The team's next competition is at Lakeside versus Cambridge and St. John's Northwestern Military Academies.
And that's time.
Mission work is a great way to spread the saving word of God. This past week, the student body participated in a penny war to help raise money to support the mission in London. Thank you to everybody who donated during this fun activity.
There are a lot of ways you could have spent the recent Christmas break. One student spent hers traveling to Bosnia and Herzegovina, a country in the Balkan Peninsula, to visit her family. Angelina Petrovic tells us more about this exciting trip.
The morning of December 27th, my family went to the Chicago O'Hare Airport to travel to Bosnia and Herzegovina, where my dad immigrated from. My grandparents live up in the mountains, so it's kind of a harder drive, and there was lots of snow while we were there, so it was an interesting traveling day. So it holds the clouds sort of in the middle because of the mountains, and with the ocean so close by, it causes like huge downpours of snow. My grandparents live up in the mountains. It's more small villages that don't have paved roads or like plows really, so it's kind of just everybody helping out everybody to get around. A couple times we got stuck from going home or from getting out, so we spent a couple days cooped up. But once you get down to the town, the roads are all pretty nice. And a couple years ago, they just put a new highway through the country, so it's pretty nice to get around most places now. One of my favorite things to do while I'm in Bosnia is to cook with my aunts and my great aunts. I just think it's a really great experience. One of my favorite things to cook with my Aunt Milka is sarma, which is like pickled cabbage with rice and meat on the inside, and you can put tomato juice or like any like stew sort of over it. The way Bosnia is split up is kind of like here in America, but they don't have states, they have entities. After the war in Bosnia in the 1990s, the country was split into 3 regions. Herzegovina for the Roman Catholics, Bosnia for the Muslims, and the Republic of Srpska for the Orthodox. So my family's from the Republic of Srpska, and the capital of the Republic of Srpska is Banja Luka. And we got to see the government building, which actually had the president of Serbia in it at the time because while we were there, it was the Republic of Srpska's Independence Day. So the Orthodox calendar is a little bit different than here, so Christmas actually falls on the 5th, 6th, and 7th instead of being in December. So another thing that's different is Christmas trees. Because Bosnia is up in the mountains in a more Mediterranean area, they don't have lots of evergreen trees, so the trees are kind of just like normal trees, and there's lots of dried leaves still on them that haven't fallen yet. So they take the tree, and it starts at the top of the mountain in the top of the village. And as the day goes by, they drive down and pick up people who follow them to the church. As they stop at people's house, they add stuff to the tree, and then the tree makes its way to the church. The culture there is a little bit different. There's a cafe culture, which is basically just like sitting down, visiting, taking time. They don't really have to-go food, like how we would get our coffee and go here. They just sit down and eat it. And then when we would visit the city, there's some different things you would see based on architecture here, and the country's really recovering from that time of war that it underwent.
At St. Paul's Fort Atkinson, the 4th and 5th graders participated in a Christmas challenge. The challenge was to see how long they could make a paper chain before Christmas Day. It began as just a small project, but turned into a long task, just to see if they could wrap the chain from the lower part of the building into the upper part. The children worked tirelessly and diligently to complete it just 2 days before Christmas break. In the end, the chain was over 1,000 feet in length and could wrap around the entire school building. Great job, St. Paul students.
The long-awaited cafeteria and front entrance is finally finished. Students and staff alike can now enjoy the extra cafeteria space, the expanded offices, and the entryway. Lucy Cookdaw tells us more on this finished project.
It's really nice because they have like the super big windows, and I like looking out into the parking lot, especially when it's snowing, because then you get to see all the snow. But yeah, it's really nice that it's really open, because it's not super cold in there and it's not super hot, because like it's not this tiny little area with all the the vents blowing on you. It's like this big open space. It's not as loud as it usually is like in the tiny area, because we had so many people packed into like this tiny little room, and it's like you all have to sit in your certain spot, because otherwise like there's not enough room for everybody. You can like pick different spots, or you can sit in the same spot, but it's like you don't have to worry about it.
And now, you're in the loop. I'm Natalie Pop.
And I'm John Loest. Thank you for watching. God bless.